And what we need to do here is we basically need to take this still life that we see in front of us, or there are people in it, Lids, it's not a still... You know what I mean. And recreate it in the image...
A marriage contract between Iris and Olgierd.
Recreate it in the image of the paintings that the painter has made. And this is basically her own world that she has fabricated. It's a prenuptial agreement. Prenuptial agreement? You know what I mean. We, the undersigned, Iris Belowitz and Olgierd von Everick, have agreed to seal our love in a marital contract and to bind ourselves to certain covenants. Let this document stand as an oath before the gods and all that we hold holy, that, till death do us part. We shall treat one another with mutual respect and give due hearing to each other's requests and opinions. If separation shall come, we shall each retain all property, both movable and immovable, which we brought into this marriage, and additionally, each shall keep any presents given by the other during the duration of the marriage. The income, which each receives, each shall spend as he or she sees fit, with the game tabbing out as I'm in the middle of reading that statement. Where were we? Each shall keep any presents, the income, with all costs related to the maintenance and upkeep of mutual possessions being divided equally between the parties. Signed, Iris and Olgierd. So this is the lovely wedded couple who has, well, had quite a cursed relationship, it seems, by the looks of things. What else can we uncover here? We still have creepy ghosty dog. Want to forget the game and play it for the first time? I know, right? What do we have here? A random mug?
But there was vodka in it.
How dare they put vodka in a beer tanker?
So this is when he started smoking.
Okay. Sure.
Drained to the last drop.
Okay, so like, in this freeze frame we see here, in front of us, Olgierd here looks like he's either about to drink or about to smoke. We'll have to choose which one we give to him. What's this as well? A knife?
Knife covered in blood. Guess Olgierd got the scars on his shoulders that winter.
Oh. Interesting. You are also doing something. So we basically need to decide what item do we put in their hands. What does it look like they're supposed to have here? And oftentimes we found that there's some kind of hints. So I deliberately did not put anything in his hand there. But, like, you look like you're either drinking or smoking. I can't really tell what that's supposed to be. It looks like you're about to drop the mic. Looks like he's dropping the mic. That's what it seems like. Here is Iris. But are there any hints here, or do we just take a wild guess? I think we just take a wild guess. I mean, only so many things it could be, right? I think you look much easier to figure out. You're either the mug or the pipe.
So that's how he whiled away the long winter evenings.
Okay, so I think that's correct then. Then what do we give you? We give you the... Oh, is he dramatically holding up the contract like this? You agreed to this. Maybe that's it.
Her father must have been holding the contract.
That's a big contract. Wow.
Furthermore, it is agreed that Iris shall be accorded the respect she is owed, that you shall heed her counsel and requests, and...
Get to the point, Father. My patience runs thin.
Gladly. On Iris's request, I declare this marriage null and...
What? Null and void? But you're supposed to be in love!
You vowed to remain with me, till death do us part.
And I've held to my vow. The Olgierd I married is no more.
Oh, bold statement.
Given does not come that easy. Believe me, you shall stay here forever.
Enough! You will not command us. You will...
Uh-oh. That wasn't good.
Father! Father! No!
Oh my god. Did you just kill her father?
Servant, Take this carcass and feed it to the beasts.
You're a monster! Alright, and now we're fighting what? Looks like ghoul ghosts? Eating the carcass, basically, is what you're saying happened. These things ate the carcass of her father. That, you know, her husband.
Ever ceased to be human.
Husband to
Though
kill.
he still loved his wife.
No, he merely remembered that he should love her.
Let's go upstairs.
Oh, that's deep. So this is all about their twisted relationship, and that line just in general, like, do they actually love each other, or is it just that this guy, thinking back upon his wife, he just remembers that he thinks he should love her, not that he actually does. That's kind of hauntingly sad. Yeah, this is quickly taking a turn toward the horror, it feels like. This felt like a horror game for the past little bit. At least a little bit of a horror game. Like, this evil spirit thing keeps on mocking us. Just shows up momentarily like that, and then it disappears. Do anything here? This looks like we're not gonna be able to make it through that. Okay. Anything to loot here? Through this door, this is probably also gonna be locked or blocked off. I think the way we are supposed to go is through, well, probably the door that's wide open, I'd imagine. The caretaker? What? We fought the caretaker previously. Excuse me. That's locked. So yeah, we have just the caretaker. Okay, let's save real quick. We fought the caretaker previously, but this is in an alternate reality. So, what gives?
I remember. We spent much time together here, the three of us.
In silence.
We'll
Oh.
take our places, the same as then.
You do the rest.
Okay, so another image to recreate. Gigantic bear, which, is this actually going to be a real bear that comes to life once we recreate the scene, finish recreating the scene, or is this just very elaborate taxidermy? I do not know. Also, like I said, the caretaker is creepy, and we did fight him. And,
Animal hair.
no. Okay. Sure. Noted. Animal hair.
Claw scratches.
Yeah, I'm guessing this bear might be the real deal if there's animal hair and claw scratches.
Oh, for soup maybe?
And Max Ray, thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Let's see. We got the small bowl, we got the large bowl. Do not dare mix those up. Food tray as well. Okay. So... oh, that is creepy looking. Okay, so we put something there, we put something there, and we put something down here. But do we have any... oh, what is the... caretaker's also giving a very ominous looking glow. Oh, he's totally got the food platter, right? He's bringing them the food. Let's give him that.
Perfect match.
Okay. Now we have the platters. What is the deal with your plate here, though?
Single place setting. No others on the table.
Doesn't really tell us anything. I guess we're just taking a guess. Do we put the small here? Or do we put the small here? Do we put the big here? Do we put the... oh, wait, hold on. One of them's for... is it for the animals? Like, we have one for the dog and one for the cat. Presumably the dog has the bigger one, because the dog is larger.
I think this was yours.
That's my guess. That's my guess.
There we go.
Okay, I think we made it.
You actually ate from these bowls?
Of course not.
Don't
I
be
already
silly.
told you, we're not animals.
But the caretaker would set them out all the same, as ordered.
Another monstrosity. I begged you to stop this. Those two are too many as it is.
The dog
Oh.
and cat keep you company.
Olgierd
This one
summoned
will
them.
protect you. Care for the house, no matter what happens.
Before, I wished to know what was going on in that head of yours. I thought perhaps I could help. Now, I care not the slightest what you think or how you feel.
Oh, man. From his former wife, no
Feel
less.
nothing.
Just as I no longer know if I still hate you. Go, Olgierd. I want you out of my sight.
Such harsh words. These two were married.
Olgierd von Everec failed to understand we'd never be able to replace him.
His spectre now casts a shadow over Lady Iris's every remembrance.
Oh, man.
We're almost at our journey's end.
What's there?
Iris von Everec's greatest fear.
The thing that has been haunting us this entire time. So, can we start to piece together this whole picture here? So, clearly, they had the relationship, which at first, they were all, of course, as hopefully any newlywed would be, they were optimistic about spending their lives together. But then, Olgierd, we saw, was doing some dark magic, had the satanic ritual going on in his room, and then he would leave Iris to go do that stuff, and insisted on her staying away from him. Then they quickly grew apart, it seems. We saw the divorce, or at least attempted divorce, and after which Olgierd killed Iris's father by smashing his head against the wall. And then here, it looks like what we just saw was that Olgierd summoned the spectral cat and spectral dog in hopes of giving Iris some beings to keep her company when he left. And then what the ghost cat and ghost dog are saying is that there's one thing left, Iris's greatest fear, for us to address. And that, I have to imagine, has something to do more directly with Olgierd. That's also creepy. That looked like a human. Okay, so over here we go, and it's in this room. I think it's gonna be a boss fight against that ghost-like being that's been following us around this entire time, and it's gotta have some connection to Olgierd, right? Think so. Face Iris von Everec's greatest fear. Here goes nothing. Is that piece of paper on the table? I mean, we can loot from these bookcases in preparation, because being a smarter witcher is totally going to help us out here in preparation for whatever this encounter is about to be. But I think that's it. Let's make it happen.
My dearest wife, letters from Olgierd to Iris, where I only as skilled with words as I am with my blade, especially now, when an icy void grips my heart.
Uh-oh.
I see how you
There it
look
is.
at me, and I see you with her. I cannot help you, but I believe I can cease harming you. This letter and this rose are my farewell. May you live in health, and remember but the good times, Olgierd.
Gonna be the ghost of Olgierd, or whatever it is that he made that pact with. This being. That. And that's gonna be like jump scare territory. Here it is! Oh, it does the classic Olgierd! I have a sword stuck in me, but I'm gonna take it out and still live because I'm immortal. There are a lot of them. Oh, yes! Lovely. Just lovely. Howdy! Pleasure to meet you. Iris's greatest fear is the name of it as well. And it is totally old. Oh, and you can see the writing, well, I couldn't quite catch everything that said, but okay, let's quickly throw on. I mean, it's clearly Olgierd, or at least the ghost of Olgierd. Let's prep for this. I'm assuming that it's a Spectre, probably, right? So we'll throw on our Spectre oil for additional damage. Do we need to repair any of our gear here? 73% or yeah, our sword is a little bit beat up. Let's quickly throw a little bit of a repair kit on that one. Just 15% should get us close enough. I imagine we're going with a silver sword here against a monster of some variety. This is not a human, I don't think. Then armor, all that's oh, hold on, chestplate is a little beat up, although it is technically still at full working capacity, or at least it's not any reduced effectiveness. We might as well do a little bit of repair there, though, I think. Just in case that's about to change. Then, in terms of potions for this type of fight, well, we did have this one here to regenerate vitality whenever we deal damage, but we used that, and then we did not take the time to, well, meditate to get it back. So we don't have that anymore. I do like that one for boss fights, but we're gonna have to choose something else in its stead, I'm afraid, because that has expired on us. What do we expect we're going to want here? I mean, I think what we're going to find is he's going to be a really good swordsman. He's going to block a lot of our attacks, and then he's going to have some nice counterattacks. I don't know how high his damage is going to be, but let's see. Okay, what was this one? Nah, for each foe killed, that's not going to be very helpful. I think, what have we had in the past? We've gone with Succubus. Attack power grows over the course of a fight until reaching maximum threshold. I think we like this one, because presumably if we're doing a boss fight, it's going to last a long time. So over the course of the fight, this is going to become a lot more than just the starting 1% attack power. So let's throw that on instead of you. And then I think we're going to have room for just one other small potion as well. Maybe for additional attack power and crit chance during storms. I don't know if we're during a storm right now or not, but hopefully these two will help us out. Put on the shield. Whoa, he is fast. How's our damage looking? It's not great. Not great. We did get some hits in there. Oh, dear. So like our other ones, yeah, it's gonna be like we fight one of these guys and then another one comes to life out of all these ones that are just like hanging out in the shadows right now. Very cool. Oh, it's very cool move. That one down. Who's next?
Giving me no choice.
One. You. Boom! Now that seemed like we were dealing way more damage that time. So, Olgierd is normally immortal. Is this the reason why he's immortal? He's basically been possessed by all these guys. And by taking these guys out, is he no longer going to be immortal? Because I remember, before we went on this mission, Olgierd told us, you know, only one of us is coming out alive from this. It's either you or it's me. And that seems strange, because Olgierd was not on that mission with us at the time. You know, he was just hanging out. But, well, perhaps we are learning why that is right now. Ooh, big dramatic sword hit that actually, I think, broke through our shield there, our Quen. Ho, ho, ho. I liked the Urden, I think. Wait to get that back. Bad timing on it. Probably also try to counter more of these. I've not made much of an effort at all to do that. Oh, that was a bad time to not choose to block. Took it off to go for the counter at the wrong time, I'm afraid. There we go. Ooh, what was that? Just punch us? What was that move? It does seem like he's hitting harder as the fight goes on. That one down. This might be the last one. He's quite low. Not really going for the Iggy yet. I'm not sure where you went. Ooh, no thank you. Oh, you still blocked. You still blocked. We still have coin on? We don't. Let's counter that. Perhaps counter this, or at least block it. Wait for the big hit, and we'll counter that. Like this. Come on. Yeah, what? He's like slapping us. He's slapping us. He goes for the fancy sword swings, and then he slaps us. That we should have tried to counter, rather than running away from it. Like this one as well. Think we got him. Very cool fight. I feel like we forgot part of the story. I mean, he did the pact with the whole satanic ritual part. And he also did the pact with Gaunter. I suppose might have something to do with Gaunter as well.
You're not him.
We'll see how this all starts to fit
I
together.
wanna talk.
Not here. Not in this place.
This was all just to talk to her. That's true. That is true. Yeah, technically this is in an alternate reality as well. This is not actually in the real world, so to speak. So maybe, you know, this won't actually affect Olgierd. That could also certainly be the case. At least not what we're doing right now.
I'm sorry. I mistook you for another.
For Olgierd?
I thought he'd returned. To me.
Hey,
What
not
are
exactly.
A ghost? An illusion?
I am sadness.
You are sadness. Incarnate. Okay. We have kind of sort of met before. You know, in the real world, your ghost attacked us, which we fought and defeated. So, not really sure where that leaves us, is the thing.
Saw you before, but you weren't yourself. And I saw you again in your memories.
We've met. I don't recall.
Yeah.
I had bad dreams. That is all I know.
We have come to get the rose that Olgierd gave you. Not sure if you are going to be willing to part with it. Or maybe you take that as a sign that Olgierd still has feelings for you, still loves you. And maybe that will give you inner peace.
I've come for the violet rose Olgierd gave you.
On the day we saw one another for the last time, I dried it and placed it in our chamber at my bedside.
Mm-hmm.
I lay there for days, staring at it, until at last it crumbled into dust, as did I soon after.
Oh.
So, the rose is gone?
Not from this world. Look, you buried my body and the flowers bloomed once more. And I was held in a deep, dark sleep. Only now have I awoken, just like my beautiful rose. When you placed the painting on my grave, I remembered the day of my marriage. Tell me, how is Olgierd? Healthy? Does he fare well?
I mean, he's immortal, so, sort of. Olgierd doesn't deserve your concern. Oh, harsh words. He pretends to be happy, but isn't, or he's doing alright. All these things are interesting, but perhaps first we just mentioned, yeah, your husband has formed a very powerful enemy. That, of course, being Gaunter O'Dim.
Your husband's got a powerful enemy. Gaunter O'Dim. Know the name?
I curse the day I first heard it.
She does.
Who is he, and how'd he step into your lives?
It's my fault. It was for me Olgierd summoned the Man of Glass. and it was my fault he wished for riches, then immortality for us both.
Oh dear.
Olgierd will best Odin, won't he? Now tell me, how is my husband?
That's a hard question to answer. So, I mean, this is a very charged statement, saying that Olgierd doesn't deserve your concern. It does seem as if Iris, despite all the things that have happened to them, is still kinda okay with Olgierd. She doesn't seem to be holding too much ill will toward him, despite all that. Perhaps it's because she is taking blame for some of this herself. She just told us that she is, at least in her eyes, the reason why Olgierd seems to have summoned Gaunter O'Dim, wished for immortality and riches, with perhaps the hope that they could be happy together with those things, but then Olgierd was looking for a way to then rid himself of Gaunter, but couldn't make that happen, and then that is why he sort of felt he distanced himself from her and couldn't find a way. Yeah, just that what became all-consuming for him, it seems like. But I think maybe we go this route here and say he pretends to be happy but isn't. I think that is very accurate, and this feels like that's a little bit overstepping our boundaries.
Your husband hunts out ever stronger sensations. He tempts fate, because at heart he's unhappy.
At heart he is stone,
Hearts of stone.
so nothing has changed.
Oh.
And did Olgierd mention me? What did he say?
Not much, but I didn't ask about you. He just sent me to retrieve the rose.
The rose? The last I have left of him? His last gift?
Yeah, that is asking a lot. Get rid of that. Take that off her hands. Perhaps one of her most prized possessions. Perhaps she's willing. Yeah. This rose has some additional significance, does it not? Is it like the source of your power in this alternate reality in which we currently exist? And by taking it, everything here will get destroyed? Something along those lines?
Got a feeling the rose is important to you, more than a memento.
I remember so little. Yet when I think of my rose, I begin to recall what was. The world around me turns real, and my eyes open wide and I recognize things. Remember who I am and who I was.
A friend once told me about a case like this. Could be strong emotions that bind you to the rose. Feelings we witchers call pins. They're what keeps you in this world.
Right, and by removing it, we could
Like
remove
an
her.
insect pinned in a collection case. Horrible.
Oh, yeah, it's
Need to be
strange
honest, if I take the rose,
comparison
you
to draw.
cease to exist, as might the world you built around you.
Yeah,
And
that's
what will
the
happen
thing.
then? Shall I be free of the suffering, the sadness? Is it the void that awaits?
Perhaps?
I don't wish to suffer any longer, but I fear there will be cold and darkness until there is nothing at all.
Wow. That is deep. Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what happens. We don't really know what happens after all this. But can you give me the rose? Oh, man. And now, so she said, I mean, she's scared. Understandably so. As expected, basically, the only thing that's allowing her to cling on to this form of existence is that rose. By taking it, presumably, she and this world would disappear. And so she wants to end her suffering, though. So part of me feels like even if that is what happens, perhaps that is what she wants. Even if she says she's afraid of the cold and the darkness, if ultimately it's a way for her to move on, then maybe that's for the best. At the same time, I understand how you could see leaving the rose with her so that she can continue to live on in this world could be an option, but, you know, she's not happy. As she said, this is not really a place or state of being in which she wants to be. It's just that she's scared and not sure what would happen if we were to take the rose, but I think it is still for the best.
I need the rose. Will you give it to me?
It's so fragile. Look, the petal edges have turned crimson, as they were on the day I received it. The one thing missing is the single drop of dew which slid down the leaf when I took the rose in hand. Or was it blood? Because I pricked my finger. I can't remember. You know, I never did read the letter from Olgierd. I didn't have to. And I needn't have kept the flower he left me. I've come to a decision. I shall give you the rose.
Okay. She's doing it of her own accord, which makes me definitely feel better
Thank
about
you,
it.
stranger, for freeing us.
And for what it's worth, we
Before
freed
we go,
Ghost
some
Dog and
advice.
Ghost Cat.
Beware of the one called the Man of Glass. Stand in his
Yeah,
way, and
Contra
you'll
did.
meet a fate worse than death. Seek salvation in glass that can't be broken.
Glass that can't be broken?
Oh,
So
Master
long.
Mirror.
I'll remember you, Iris von Everec.
That no longer matters. Farewell.
Oh, man. Haunting. Well, we're back. And mission complete. And oh boy. Whatsoever a man soweth, and more info on Olgrid. Let's save. And let's read up a little bit about, well, I mean, we did hear a lot and experience a lot there. Iris as well. When Geralt visited Olgierd von Everec to hear his third and final wish, he learned the rough and rowdy Adaman had once been married. At some point, he'd left his wife, however, and gave her a violet rose as a parting gift. Geralt's task was to find this rose somewhere in the von Everec's abandoned manor. When he arrived there, he discovered the estate was haunted by a malicious wraith tied to Olgierd's wife, Iris, who had died of loneliness years prior. Oh man, you even say that she died of loneliness? Her rage and remorse now filled her former house with evil energy. Geralt gathered up Iris's remains and buried them in the manor's garden. He did this both out of simple human decency and cold calculation, for he knew this act would calm her unsettled spirit and lead him to the Violet Rose. During the funeral, a now quieted Iris appeared to Geralt and took him on a journey to a world which existed only in her mind. This painted world consisted of her fears and memories, which Geralt now had to confront. Iris von Everett's memories first recalled happy days spent in Olgierd's company, then became darker and darker. In fact, even the sunnier ones had an ominous cloud hanging over them. An uneasy feeling, something horrible would soon happen. Iris von Everett had been a sensitive woman and noted subtle changes in her husband's behavior. She had lacked the courage, however, to delve into their cause. That was true, especially the part where she said she didn't even read his letter. That was a little bit striking that she said that. Olgierd von Everett's heart had turned to stone, turning him into a monster. Is that actually, like... I mean, metaphorically, it's one thing to say that someone has a heart of stone, right? However, is the reason why Olgierd is immortal quite literally because his heart is actually made of stone? So when people stab him through the chest, they don't kill him because his heart was never pumping blood to begin with. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into that too much, but interesting thought, no less. Let's see. So... Olgierd von Everett's heart had turned to stone, turning him into a monster. In her painted world, at least, yeah. Iris hated what her husband had become, but could not stop loving him. Yeah, she definitely did have these conflicting feelings where it was strange how at times it felt like she was suggesting that she still had strong feelings for him, and then at other times it seemed as though she was saying, "You mean nothing to me anymore." The couple endured together in a painful cohabitation until Olgierd ended it by abandoning his wife. Iris never came to terms with their separation, could not, in fact, even bring herself to read her husband's farewell letter. Yet the violet rose he gave her upon leaving she kept, making it a focal point for all the longing and love raging in her soul. When she died, these unresolved feelings kept her spirit in this world and continued to cause her suffering. Yeah, and that's largely the reason why I think, morally at least, I feel okay about taking the rose away from her, is because she was, at the end of the day, suffering. Witcher's intervention helped Iris accept what had happened to her and her husband. When he asked for the rose, she agreed to give it to him, knowing this would put a final end to her pain and suffering, and also her very existence. Yeah. As for the black cat and dog, her guardians of sorts, very mysterious, beings from some other world. As with finding the violet rose Olgierd had given his wife, Geralt traveled to the von Everett family's abandoned estate, which had become home to a host of strange and horrifying creatures. Among these, they were, comparatively speaking, definitely creepy, but not nearly as horrifying as some of the other things that we saw. Were a black cat and dog who, though able to speak, chose to say very little about themselves. Geralt surmised they were demons from another sphere, who had been summoned by black magic, trapped in animal bodies and bound to serve Iris von Everett, possibly by Olgierd. The enigmatic duo trusted Geralt would help them regain their lost freedom, even though he himself had no idea how he might go about doing such a thing. Later, when Geralt encountered Iris von Everett's memories, he learned Olgierd had summoned the otherworldly dog and cat, to keep his wife company in his absence, exactly. An idea only a man with a heart of stone could have imagined working. Especially if you consider that they are technically demons. Let's see. The two creatures remained loyal to Iris even after she died, and transformed into an enraged ghost. They never loved her and felt no sympathy for her fate, for such feelings did not form a part of their nature and did not reside in even the darkest corners of their souls. And that's a very grim way of painting them. they were... I wouldn't say they were evil. They were loyal. I'd say they were very, very neutral. They had a task to do, and they did it. They didn't necessarily form feelings for Iris, but those were neither positive nor negative feelings. They just remained purely neutral. In the end, the strange dog and cat regained their long-for freedom when Iris von Everett gave Geralt the violet rose, thereby ending her existence. With their lady gone, the dog and cat service ended, and they were free again at long last. Then... Olgierd, do we have new information about him as well? Because it certainly seems like it, right? That's, I feel, probably worth a quick read as well. Oh, old kid. There you are. Let's see, we have a lot on him. But, let's see, where does it start off with the new stuff? Granting Olgierd's wishes had proven difficult but rewarding, for Geralt now knew a great deal more about the unusual nobleman, and the story that unfolded could have jerked tears from a Cyclops, or perhaps even a man with a heart of stone. Once upon a time, Olgierd fell hopelessly in love with Iris, a beautiful young lady from a well-off family. Her parents accepted his proposal of marriage, and all seemed set for a happy ending when a storm of misfortune suddenly broke over the von Everett family. A chain of bad decisions and a few years of bad harvests had left the once wealthy family deeply in debt. Yeah, he was telling this recently. Then the Borsodis purchased this debt and, with their brutal enforcement of its terms, drove the von Everecks into utter bankruptcy. After this, Iris's parents changed their mind about their daughter's future husband, revoking their approval of Olgierd and betrothing Iris to an Ophiri prince who had come to study in Oxenfurt. Okay, there we see things tying together. Now I get it. So, yes, they were married, but the reason why Iris's parents basically disowned Olgierd was because he fell into a serious debt, and then the Borsodis, who we met previously, well, they had an interesting way of enforcing that debt, very forcefully. So then he became disowned, and then they became separated, and in that time, Iris was to wed the Ophiri prince, who got cursed into a toad from Olgierd. Then we fought that cursed toad, not realizing that it was actually an Ophiri prince, got captured by the Ophiris, got rescued by Gontar O'Dim, and that is what brought us into this whole picture. What a tangled web we weave. So, out of desperation, Olgierd turned to Master Mirror, and soon won back his coin, influence, and most importantly, his betrothed. Okay, so he did get Iris back from that, or at least, sort of. All seemed well until he discovered his wish's unwanted side effect. His heart was slowly hardening to stone. Okay, yes, quite literally, or quite actually, turning into stone. Now the Witcher was on the verge of bringing the pact between Olgierd and Master Mirror to completion. Did this mean everything would soon be as it once was? Geralt was not so sure. One question kept nagging him. What was that something very personal Gontar O'Dim intended to collect from Olgierd? His heart? Perhaps? Is he stealing his heart by turning it to stone somehow?